Good evening, everybody watching. This is the Creative Burrows Gaming channel. My name is Isaac, and once again I'm back playing Factorio version 0.17.experimental. On the last episode, I was able to get down this basic starter base here, and wasn't quite able to make my goal of getting the green science production line built. So that's going to be the first thing I built today. And it'll look very similar to my red science right over there. I'm just clearing out some trees, getting myself some room, because while I love trees, I do need to be able to build stuff in a convenient, efficient, and effective manner. So right now we're currently researching the logistic science pack that I lovingly refer to as our green science. And while we're waiting on that, I'm going to reposition. Actually, I'll let the ammunition keep doing its thing. Still got 200 iron in that chest for it to burn through. And once it's through that, then I'll reposition it. What I definitely do need is some assemblers. And our power's going good, so I won't worry about that for the moment. So there's our assemblers. I'm going to set these down in a series of 6 so that they match production schedule with the red science over here. And we just finished our green science packs, and the biters decided to throw us a congratulatory party, which is only slightly worrisome. Thankfully, we've survived that attack handily thanks to this SMG. So I'm going to very quickly start getting this green science set up, and then get defense against the aggressive biters going on here real soon. Alright, there's our power poles. Now for these logistic packs I need conveyor belts and inserters, and since I have them being produced right over here, what I'm going to do is just pull them out of their boxes onto a belt, and I'm going to do the same thing that I've been doing with loading coal and ore onto my smelting lines, and I'm just going to side load them onto the same belt so I don't have to use too many conveyor belts or use too much space for something that's pretty simple. It doesn't have to be used that quickly. And then we'll just set those up to load into our assemblers here. There we go. Now where did those biters come from? There's this little base right down here, and according to the map they can't come across that river, but I bet they just skirted the north side of this little lake here and just funneled right in. So I'm going to set up some turrets right here behind the trees in front of my green science. Yet, looking at the radius, the turrets just about cover the distance. Maybe a couple more, just for good measure. Just to be certain. There we go. Oh, good. And our ammunition assemblers have run through that stack of iron plates I gave them. So now it's time to reposition them. I think I just positioned that one a little too far out. There we go. using the ghost placer there to measure out the distance, since these assemblers are 3 tiles wide. And we'll set this box to 1000 ammo. Okay. Yeah, it looks like we're getting a backup on our science packs. Our research labs are not using all of them, so we'll make some more research labs. Just want to double check real quick. Power's starting to redline there. So we'll build another 4 steam engines, another 2 boilers, and 2 more inserters, and 1 more lucky pipe. And then I'll build 6 more labs. So since we're going to have to do that, I'm going to cycle on down. Still haven't used all the coal out of that little shunt line I've got. But not to worry. Eventually that coal will be off those conveyor belts. Oh, that's why. That explains a lot about why my power is going down there. It turns out if you can't get coal into the coal burning boiler, the boiler won't produce steam, and you won't get steam to your steam engines, so they won't produce electricity. And if they don't produce electricity, then you're going to run out. So, yeah. I think that was the last thing I was expecting to be the cause. Was, oh, I forgot to put in an inserter. Well, anyways, it's fixed now, and now we have plenty of electricity for a good bit. So we'll just finish setting up this expanded science lab. On the way, we'll double check how many furnaces we have. 26. So yeah, might as well fill these stone miners up, because the next step I want to get into is building up my smelting capacity. This is nice for keeping the base going and providing me with resources here. But I'm going to need to be able to build a whole lot more. And to do that, I'm going to have to mine a whole lot more. And this is pretty much going to be the pattern throughout this entire Factorio playthrough. Is I'll achieve the next level of science, make a couple of major upgrades to what I produce, and then I will have to go back again, expand my raw resource production limits, so I can get to the next level of production, so I can get to the next level of science, and so on and so forth. And there we go, we're now up to 12 research labs running pretty much simultaneously. Alright, I think I'll pick up that turret. Do I have... Alright, need a lot more iron to get some more turrets built by hand here real quick. So just build up about 4 of those. Yep, and there's the biters. Pretty soon here, after I get physical projectile damage done, I'm gonna have to go have a talk with those biters and ask them to please leave the neighborhood. I'm just merely trying to survive on a different planet than I was born on, or manufactured on, since there's currently a theory that I've heard floated around that this engineer is not a human, but actually a robot. Potentially some sort of semi-advanced android. Okay, before I go take that base, I'm going to need a lot of turrets and a lot of ammunition. So I guess for the moment, I'm not going to worry too much about that base. I've got a little turret wall there set up. They can keep sending attacks at me. I'm sure it'll all be fine. You know, eventually. So yeah, I guess it's time to start working on expanding my mining. And the reason I want to do that is because I'm going to have to research some things here. And the next level of research I want to get to is the military science pack. And to produce those, I'm going to need the piercing rounds, ammunition, grenades, and walls. And I'm going to need about 5 science buildings for that, and I can't quite support that off of my starter base here. So I don't need anything else very urgently. Except military too, if I want to get to military science. Pack research. And, stone walls can be a lifesaver in some situations. We're already doing physical projectile damage 1. 2 will take forever to research. So well, in all honesty, so will just about everything else. Oh wow, surprised I never got electronics researched. And with electronics researched, then I can get fast inserters researched. And yeah, we'll leave it at that right now. So these are a bunch of supportive researches, I guess you could say, for my infrastructure and defense. The next path we'll be trying to go up will be getting advanced materials, engines, and so forth, so I can work my way up to, here we are, the chemical science packs. Because those will allow us to take care of oil processing. But that step's a little bit of a ways down the line. So make some more power poles, because I always need power poles. And start plotting out how I'm going to set up my mining here. And the reason I say I have to plot that out is because I want to start doing full smelting columns. And a full smelting column consists of 48 furnaces. The way I set it up would be 2 lines of 24. And to support that, I need 30 electric miners. And to support that, I'd prefer to have them in a nice, even line. So I don't have to keep kind of snaking conveyor belts around. But this is a very oddly shaped iron patch here. It's not too often I run across ones that are hourglass shaped like this. So yeah, I'm going to have to give this some thought as I build it up. What am I missing? Of course, always missing iron. And in fact, you can see that with these 2 ammunition assemblers going and this full science going, I am starting to put a bit of a strain there on my iron supply for this little starter base. So, but looking at this, I still have science backing up by quite a bit, for the green science especially. So I can add another pack of 6 laboratories there. And if you're wondering where I'm going to fit them, is what I'm going to do is use this nifty trick of the inserters to take excess packs out of one research lab and put them right into another. And in about a minute or 2 here, I'll be able to demonstrate that. There we go. So we're at 15 electric miners, so I need that'd be 20, 25, and 30. And that's just a right click to do them in batches of 5. Let's see, drop some of this ore off and something that can actually make use of it. No matter how awesome the Android here is, he still cannot smelt raw ore into iron and copper plates within his own body. Just not something he has the functionality for. Alright, so let's start setting up where or how I'm going to want this first iron line to go. I might actually do a sneaky zigzag. Especially since I don't want to kind of risk contamination on these borders with different resources. I can use those spaces that I won't be for conveyor belts for snaking them around to join up. At least that's currently my plan. And there's all the research done. That was really quick. So we'll get optics. And all optics gives us is lights. But if you haven't noticed, it does get rather dark at night when you're trying to watch a Factorio video on YouTube. In the game, that is. So I get lights so I can at least place them on my production facility. It also helps me running around. If I look at it from map mode, I can see it much more clearly. We'll get heavy armor here. We'll get automation 2, because that gives us fast assemblers. And the difference between a fast assembler and an assembling machine 2 and assembling machine 1 is that assembling machine 2 assembles faster, and it can also take in fluid inputs. And that will become very critical in the next few builds down the line. And we'll just start up physical projectile damage 2 there, because those spiders are much closer than I am happy with, comfortable with, wanting. The biters are definitely much too close for comfort. There we go. So, how do I want to run? Well, let's just keep it simple. Run one line out. Connect it up in this nice neat square. And then figure out where I can zigzag it back on itself to still leave as much of the next patch of resources available as possible. Yeah, that still has stone on it. Alright, I did make the right choice. At least for the moment. Later on I'll be able to sort out mixed lines fairly easily. No, that does not work as cleanly as I'd hoped for. Oh, but I can flip these guys around. Most definitely. And I don't even have to do that much. I can just, there we go. Now I'm thinking. Alright, and we'll just dope. Okay, good. At least that wasn't a major inconvenience. We'll just tie those guys into here. Okay, I say it wasn't a major inconvenience. I may have been mistaken in that judgment. Well, I think we'll just run on down here. There we go. And yeah, I know I said I had this huge thing for symmetry and neatness, but I also believe if it's not gonna make production any better, any faster, any easier, then sometimes you just have to let go of the ideal for the moment. Alright, how those... Okay, so yeah, looks like my little turret wall's doing pretty good over there. Now, this smelting column. Well, it's gonna need 48 furnaces, so I should probably get those. Dump a bit more coal into these guys so they keep producing furnaces on their own. Gonna need more splitters here. And going to need inserters, because each furnace will use 2 inserters. So across 48 furnaces, that's going to be 96 inserters. Turn that. See if that can work. That might be just enough room. Oof. That is a tight fit, but it is just enough room. There we go. Kind of forgot how to connect power poles there for a second. This is rather unsettling. Okie dokie. So, how do I want my smelting column to run? Could run it this way, but I really prefer my bus and network, I think, to go that way. And what I mean by bus is the arrangement of conveyor belts that carry all my raw resources, or in this case refined resources, for further production out towards the main base. And since I have narrow choke points over here, I want to take use of those and this eventual iron expansion. And so put walls in here, pull this into smelting over here. So I think I'm going to take this, run it this way, and expand my base out to here once I get to that point. So we'll set my smelting columns. I think just going this way, we'll point them up and we'll turn the bus real early. Ooh, and that is a big, well, not a major attack. It's not insignificant, but it's easily handled by my turrets. So, I won't concern myself anymore with it. Give ourselves a little bit of space. So let's say something like this. And let's see, 1, 2, 3, and a lucky. No, right there. Coal. We can pipe in from over there. Like say up here. There we go. And if this isn't making sense right now, I apologize. But it will. So we're going to run a line of 24 furnaces. Right on up. Actually, that stone's not in my way. This stone definitely is. This is where our iron ore and coal is going to feed into our furnaces. Yep, and this is why I place my undergrounds one wider than absolutely necessary. Then we'll run another line of 24 right beside these. This will give us a total of 48. If I can do the math on something I've built many, many times. So I should have a total of 48 furnaces. The output line doesn't need to be quite that long. The input line will go right there. We'll run on the belt to make this quicker. There we go. Pinch it off only as far as it needs to be. Good. And down here, since that splitter is splitting off into two directions, we place another one. We feed coal in from top, we feed iron from bottom. They side load each other, split the belts off, one in each direction to feed both lines. It's very clean, it's very nice. I love this design for its simplicity, its repeatability, and the fact that it works on just about everything. And we'll just start gray science there, or the military science even. I know it's going to be the next one I want to get, so I can advance some military knowledge, especially physical projectile damage here in the early portion of the game. As you can see, the biters are not happy that I am clogging up their skies with smog and pollution. And we are researching very, very quickly now. Gates, engines. Alrighty. I don't think we have a problem with lab research at the moment. I think we have a problem with I'm building too slow. Logistics for all those wonderful power poles too. So the logistics will get us faster belts and stuff. The power poles, wider range power poles. Railways for future expansions. And that fills up the queue for the moment. Even though right now it doesn't look like I'm progressing tech along a very specific or set path, everything I'm researching will have a purpose later. And down the line, it will become more important what I research and when. And I already know for a fact, from having played this game, that one of those important ones is I want to make the distance from when I start processing oil to when I research advanced oil processing as short as possible. Because advanced oil processing will be the oil processing and manufacturing ratios that I'll be using for the rest of the game. So the basic oil processing recipes I really don't want to stay on for any great length of time. It'll be necessary to get the production of certain things like plastics started so I can get certain researches done. But I want one of those first researches to be advanced oil processing with plastics. Okay, so we'll set up a path for the coal here. We'll run it across there. This is just future proofing, because I'll be setting these up one right next to the other. Connect this up to our power network, and then figure out how to run my iron right over to there. And I think I'll take my Q from this copper line. And I'll take my Q from some advice I always like to keep handy, which is if you're not too sure where you need to run something, run it from the destination to the source. Just like this. And that way it's much easier to get it aligned. There we go. And so we'll take coal off right here. Once again, destination to source. And bam. Let's see, we can use some more miners on coal, since we're now going to be depending on that for more than a few furnaces and our power. Should probably start building repair packs so I can start repairing my turrets that take damage. I think I'm going to move these two up a bit since we now have a firm location of where those spiders are coming from. I don't think the turrets are going to benefit from my light armor though. Too bad. Longer lasting turrets that can take more damage would be a great boon. Okay, and with these 18 research labs, we are definitely cranking right through our full production of research. And you can see here, I'm starting to suck up every bit of coal that I produce. Which is why I wanted to get these additional miners built in place for coal production. Because this would not be the time in the life cycle of the factory to have my coal cut out on me and my power to all of a sudden fail. So now we have that set up. We have this still functioning. We have more furnaces. Indeed we do. We'll pick those up because I'll be laying down another raw production line real soon. We have ammunition here. Yep, that will come in handy. We'll just place that right there. We have these repair packs. We'll place them right there. Okay, so we got 15 out of 18 labs researching right now, which is good. It is good. There we go. Now there's the damaged one. It's a left click, not a right click. Always feel silly when I do stuff like that. Okay, and just in case, we'll set those turrets out. And since that now covers, we'll bring these guys out a bit too. Just to perfect bridge the gap right there. There we go. So research is moving along at a rather blistering pace. I'm going to set this to priority left just so my power never runs out. We really won't need a lot of coal. In fact, it's already starting to back up on the smelters here, or on the furnaces on my smelting line. Iron seems to be coming in just a touch slow. Why is that? So I have 4 here and 27 there, so I should have 31, so it should be a full belt. Yep. Oh. Wow. There we go. I guess if you don't connect almost half of your iron production is going to look a little slow there. So there we are, everybody watching. Thank you for watching this video. Today I was able to set up one full smelting line of iron and actually get it to run the way it should. Got a few more turrets built, discovered where the biters were attacking from, expanded some power. Next time we'll be expanding this smelting line to include maybe 1 or 2 more lines of iron and a line of copper, and then we'll actually be able to advance on to building a base proper. So, once again, thank you very much for watching. This has been the Creative Burrows Gaming Channel. My name is Isaac, playing Factorio version 0.17.experimental.